Guys, we're working these kinks out in a new location. Black developers are building affordable luxury apartments in DC, right? But what we found out is that minorities make up just about 1%, just 1% of all commercial real estate developers across the nation. Just 1% of real estate developers across the nation are African American. Guys, why is this of concern for me? Well, first of all, I want you to know that Dante's Partners, that's the actual organization, their CEO, Mr. Benatai, he said that he wants to do something about that. He says that we need to have more Black ownership in commercial real estate. He says that there is not one building downtown owned by a Black person. Think about that for a minute. In this day, 2021, with all the development and construction going on, with all the bad properties that our people living in, with all the rat-infested roaches, mice, you name it, lead, no heat, bullet holes in the window, not one developer is Black. You think if we can get some Black developers helping our seniors, that we wouldn't have them living in the conditions that they're living in? We're gonna ask our beautiful guests today and see if Mr. Woods and Ms. Harry can help us understand a little bit further how we can get Black developers involved in our real estate. Additionally, we're still trying to troubleshoot these kinks around me. So you see people moving, but don't worry about that. Guys, we lost a beautiful angel. We lost our beautiful Miss Helen M. White. Those of you that are familiar with the Ballou State School, she was a 14-year veteran in the cosmetology field. I was reading and beautiful remarks were said about her. You know about your living when people are talking about you in your dying. She taught others how to be good as a mother and how to support and strengthen each other. Guys, we're losing our pillars in the community. We've got to be able to take care of one another. They say that she passed away due to health issues. Doesn't say COVID related or not. Wanted to give out a big shout out and a big palms up to our beautiful Helen. God rest your soul and rest in peace. I know Ballou State is going to be missing you up there. Hey guys, Political says that only 5% of vaccines have gone to Black Americans. Is that by default? Is that on purpose? Are they missing out on us? Are you missing your vaccine out there? Data suggests that the disadvantaged and the underserved communities are being passed by for the vaccinations. I want to know what you think out there. You know, on Palms Up, we've been talking about vaccinations and getting that shot, and we've been hearing it on both sides. What are your thoughts out there? Guys, they say that if we don't get this vaccination, we're going to stay behind these masks. Our children are going back to school. I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. As a matter of fact, let's talk about it now. According to Debbie Truong, Debbie is a reporter with the WAMU, W-A-M-U, I guess. Some students are returning to their classrooms in Washington, D.C. after almost 1 year. Can you imagine what our children are facing, the stress that they are going through, the families that are trying to understand the reality of sending their babies back to school and hoping that things are clear and clean? Well, DC public schools had planned for 15,000 to come back, guys. They had proposed that at least 9,500 would show up. Well, guys, fewer than that showed up. And they're only allowing 10 to 11 students per classroom. They're eating lunch in the classroom, and they're staggering the schedules. So they're allowing the students to come in person some days of the week, and then they can do the virtual learning on other days. The reason I'm pointing this out, if you're a family out there that's struggling with whether or not to send your children back to school, these are the kinds of things you want to understand and more, because it's not a game out here. We're losing many of our people to COVID-19. Hey guys, I want you to know that they're giving priorities to the special education kids for returning to school, the low-income families, and also those that are learning the English language. So if in fact you are a family out there who's interested in, concerned about getting your child back to school and being healthy, I say we keep talking it up with these schools. Guys, we're living, this is a new norm. Do not sit back and let other people make decisions for your babies without you being involved. Palms up. Of course, why not? This has just been one of those days. Guys, one of the things I saw else that was really interesting was the fact that many of the Latino families, they're very concerned because a lot of them are working in the service field, and they're concerned that if they send their children back to school and they get sick and bring it home to the family, now they can't go to work, they can't pay their bills, and now it's a domino effect. So I want you to know that we're living in some times and folks are stressed out there. And as a mental health advocate, that's why we do this show. Doctors are reporting, guys, that there's an alarming rise in our young people with liver disease. Now, what causes liver disease? Quite a few things causes liver disease. But they said that our Americans are drinking more alcohol, and not just our American, but our babies, our children. They're saying that it's related to unemployment and loneliness. The onset of the pandemic has helped to heighten the alcohol sales and the consumption. Guys, liver disease, it leads to cirrhosis, and cirrhosis leads to death. If you're someone out there who's struggling during this pandemic and you're drinking excessively, you need to think about your life, think about your health, and in moderation. Palms up. Guys, we got to think about what we're doing out there. This pandemic is bringing on a lot of stress, and my guests today are going to help us to understand that. Well, you heard some beautiful music earlier from the Phenomenon guys, and I believe that they're on our Zoom link. So without any further ado, guys, I want to introduce you to Mr. Lemuel Harris. I'm sorry, let's try that again. I gave him a new last name. He's singing, so he getting that music together over there so much, I'm changing his name. Mr. Lemuel Hines, our beautiful keyboardist, and Mr. Tyrone Snowden. Did I pronounce that right, Tyrone? Awesome. Tyrone has blessed us with a beautiful song. Guys, I want you to know that Phenomenon is the name of their music group, and they have written a beautiful song called No Change. Now, I'm going to have to put it on our link, as many of the other information you're going to hear tonight is going to be on our link so that you guys can bear witness to the beautiful nature of their talents. But before we go any further, I wanted to highlight them because if you tuned in last week, you heard them give us a little bit of Marvin Gaye. Then they took it on downtown with some soul. So Mr. Lemuel Hines and Mr. Tyrone Snowden, Phenomenon. Something like a phenomenon. That's what comes to mind when I hear it. Yes, Alabama sometimes out there, DC. It's your girl. Where'd you come up with Phenomenon? Yes, you're live. Hello.
Do they see me though?
Yes, they see you. Do you want to be seen? And let's do it on live TV.
Well,
on live TV, he stands up and says, "Can they see me?" Yes, baby, we can see you.
Thank you.
Why did you call it Phenomenon, Lynn?
Okay, phenomenon. It comes from if you read some history, it was influenced by a man that came from Britain.
From Britain?
Yes, his name was Willie Lynch.
Because we're on Facebook Live.
And what happened, what it is that there was a letter that he wrote to the Americans coming from Britain in 1712.
Mm-hmm.
He was from the West Indies. And they sent an invitation to him to come and ask them and give them some wisdom on how to keep the slaves together.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was some things that he said about the black man and having the black man go against the wife and the black man go against the children and versus the black man. And he said, if you can keep them separate and at odds with one another, it will keep their generation of black people in confusion.
Okay.
And so he said, unless a phenomenon or occurs. And so based upon that phenomenon, we are the phenomenon.
How about that?
And I believe that this occurrence that could happen, and he said 300 years, you keep it perpetually going for 300 years. And I believe that this year will be the 400 year or 300 year where that phenomenon has happened. And we as Blacks, not only Blacks, Hispanics, whatever nationality you are, whatever culture you are, we are becoming awakened. And that is the phenomenon, because that Constitution that they wrote back then, 1712, that Constitution is effect today. If you read in the Willie Lynch letter, the man, he says that if we can keep the black man tied to the horse, see, today our Constitution is that horse. So symbolically, the horse represents our Constitution. A lot of our Constitution has been infiltrated, has been, it's just tainted. It's not constitutional.
Okay.
It's not right.
Okay.
It's not holy, and it's not biblical.
Okay. Tell us what you really think.
So we gotta recognize. So they're taking a lot of things out of the Constitution that ain't right. That's right, and they're taking it out.
That's right.
And we gotta fight for our Constitution. If we don't talk about it like we're doing now, if we don't do stuff like this, then we're just laying and just laying and just putting up with everything that they tell us. And we got to start getting involved with lawmaking, because they're making all the laws and we're not involved, and it's affecting us too.
Thanks, Lem. I appreciate that. Guys, our musicians are also woke. How about that? Hey, Mr. Tyrone, you got anything you want to share with our folks? Your beautiful voice, beautiful vocals. They tell me that I believe you're the one who wrote the lyrics to the song No Change.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Well, as Brother Lem was saying, we have an opportunity every day of our lives to make changes.
Absolutely.
And we also have a choice to make that change. And, as Michael Jackson said, take a look at the man in the mirror.
That's right.
It might help you make some change. I added that little part.
I love that.
I wrote the song. Because we need change. And I think it's very important what kind of change we are looking for. We talk about it, we say we like to see it happen, but what are we doing about it?
Absolutely.
And I think, the Bible says faith without works is dead. So let's put some legs on these prayers and let's get going.
Hey, palms up. I love that.
So
when
I wrote the song, the first line of the song says, "Many years have passed and gone, yet I still see the same thing going on. Brothers are killing brothers. We're still hurting each other. When will we learn to make a sacrifice? Life is more than rolling of the dice." See, sometimes we're gambling.
That's right.
And, gambling is taking a chance. Well, we're taking a chance with our life.
Amen. Amen.
And
amen.
And if we're, as we try to promote all lives, yes, I know that that is the movement that says Black Lives Matter, and I'm all for that. But all lives matter.
Absolutely, all lives matter. Thank you for that. I really appreciate that. I thank both of you all. We're going to come back. Will you guys bless us with another selection?
Sure.
And the $50 million question is it okay if I share the song to the link today?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. I love for folks to be able to. It's a beautiful song, guys. Don't take my word for it. Thank you, guys. We're going to come back a little later and have you guys bless us with the song. Thank you for all the work and all the service that you do to help organizations like ours get our message out. Guys, the name of the song is called No Change. The name of the group is called Phenomenon. Thank you so much. And without any further ado, I want to introduce our power couple today on the platform. Mr. Charles, will you make sure that you will unmute Mr. Kerry Woods, please, and his lovely bride, Miss Harriet Hawkins. Guys, we're not playing a little bit out here. We've got to be able to give our children something to aspire to. You heard me talking about we're not representing in the developers department. Well, I'm concerned. You should be too. Look around this beautiful DC. We got all this gentrification going on, and we got 1% developers that are African American. Hey, Mr. Kerry Woods and Miss Harriet Hawkins, welcome.
Welcome. Thank you for having us.
Oh, thank you guys for being so patient and persevering. I got some soldiers on the line. I'm taking all my soldiers in the battle, guys. These guns are going off. Our seniors are living in filth. I need some Black power brokers to come to the forefront and let them know what it is. How do we save the kingdom, guys?
It starts with education, man. You got to find a way to get the kids, you start with the youth, find a way to get the kids, interested in real estate.
Yeah.
And what I love about real estate is you can make more money than doctors and lawyers without that expensive education and going in debt, by going to college. There's nothing wrong with getting that form of education, but at the same time, more wealth is made in real estate than the classes that you take in school. So we gotta get our kids involved in the real estate side.
Oh, absolutely. I agree. I say all the time, had I known about real estate when I was younger, that my life would have probably been totally different. But then again, I believe we go through the things that we go through for a reason. However, real estate is not something that was brought up to me as a younger person, something that, I learned as an adult. But now we have platforms where we can have internships for the youth in real estate, or single moms out there. Real estate is an industry that's easy to get in for them if they knew more about it.
And it goes back to the government redlining too. So it's not by accident that you don't have a lot of Blacks in real estate.
I love what you're saying, and you're right. It's not by accident, and it is about education. And a lot of things, how when you were little and your parents want to keep things from you, they put it up on the top shelf. That's the way I feel that a lot of things that are want to be what the driving force is to get our communities to change and turn around. We got to be able to reach up to that top shelf and have access to the things that were out of reach or that we thought or feel that were out of reach. We've got to be able to do something different. They keep talking about this new norm, guys, and I'm suspiciously concerned that what they're calling a new norm is the same old for our people. I know you guys saw that video I posted. Talk to me about how we begin to get conversation on the community level that starts to allow developers to be accountable or be held accountable for the nature of the properties and the environments that our citizens are existing in. In your opinion, should that be something that developers or folks on the community level that are caring for our seniors be held accountable to from a business standpoint?
Of course, though. But and it goes back to the politics again. These developers, they in hand with the politicians, right? So they come in and they lock out a lot of people that can't get in on the ground level. So what I suggest, start with the youth, educating them on being the politicians, put them in a position of power so they can grow up and make the decisions, and they can start making decisions that best affect their community. Because that's how all that gentrification came along. Your parents worked so hard in the days to get these properties, but without that education of what they have, you see the youth, the grandkids actually giving away what they worked so hard for. And the developers know, hey, if I get in bed with this politician, I'm not worried about the community. So it goes back to the politics.
I love that. And I thank you for breaking it down, the politics of it all. I love that you say we got to teach our youth how to get involved in politics. It sounds like really, guys, what we're saying is that folk like you and I got to come back to the table. Because
Absolutely.
I don't know where they're supposed to get this kind of wonderful information or motivation to even do such.
Definitely, it's community involvement and education and getting people involved. And like you said, a lot of people think it's way on the top shelf and it's out of reach for them. but it really isn't. It's just, putting it in front of them and letting them know what's available to them.
I love that. And that was so well said. And again, I'm going to keep harping on Black love. I want to congratulate you guys. I know that you guys are still on your honeymoon. Congratulations. You were recently married.
Thank you.
Thumbs up. We celebrate our leaders on this platform. I thank you guys for the work you guys are doing. Please don't be strangers on this platform, and please continue to stay at the table and help us. Anything that you think that we should be able to benefit from as a result of your knowledge and your resources, please help us to understand. We're just out here trying to save our community. And I know that you guys know what we're talking about because we come from these kinds of walks of life, no doubt.
That's it.
Oh, absolutely. I was born and raised in Washington, D.C., and raised my children for the first 7-8 years in Ward 8. So that's my community too.
You know what it is, Ward 8. You're a Ward 8 baby for life. Once you get blessed, you don't get to get rid of it. Palms up.
Absolutely.
Got some Ward 8 babies on the platform today. I know that's right. They think they know, but they don't have any clue. God bless my beautiful soldiers. Hey guys, thank you so much. Will you hang out with us? We're going to try to pull this off and see if we can get some more knowledge out into the community. We got some wonderful guests on hold. I really thank you guys. I hope you'll hang out with us so we can come back and say another word to you before we round out.
Sure.
Absolutely.
God bless you, beautiful. And if we need to get in touch with you guys before we go anywhere, how do we get our babies in touch with you all?
They can reach me at 240-229-1398 anytime.
Awesome. And you guys are on Facebook, no doubt?
Yes.
Okay, great. And that is the beautiful, incomparable Miss Harriet Hawkins and Mr. Kerry Woods. They are our Power Real Estate Company. They are in all things real estate, residential, commercial. And I'm sorry, Harriet, would you tell a girl from Ward 8 what the concierge service part of your business is?
Yes. We do real estate, all things real estate, national and global, but the concierge part is we do also services, property preservation, lawn services, internships. What else do we do?
Education classes.
Yes, investment educational classes, as well as I mentor and coach anyone who's interested in getting into real estate.
Love it. Hey guys, we don't have any excuse. We can tell our babies to put them guns down. We got somewhere we can send them. We can show them and educate them, but it's going to take a village. Hey, thank you guys. I really appreciate you guys. I'm going to mute you for a minute and go over and grab my beautiful soldier who's being so patient, Mr. Quentin Alexander, as we are patient in allowing our beautiful Charles to get folks muted and get Quentin unmuted. Hi, Mr. Alexander. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. How you doing?
Oh, no, thank you, brother. We're so humble on this platform, we lose all vanity. It's just about getting the word out today. Hey, brother, thank you all the way from, what was it, San Francisco? Did I read that correctly?
Yeah, I'm from San Francisco, but I grew up here. I graduated from Northwestern High School.
Okay, Western in the house, palms up. I think we will set that. Sound like you got an alma mater in the house.
Yeah.
You never know who around the palms up platform. Hey, Mr. Alexander, I met you a few months back, and I was so excited. One, because you were a Black man in mental health. You were a positive Black man in mental health, and you were a motivated positive man in Black man in mental health. And that means a lot in this town, because we're struggling in this town with the understanding of mental health. And we're also struggling with something that I see as your subject matter area of expertise, and that is our at-risk youth. Will you please come forward on the platform today and help our folks to understand just exactly what you do, how you got involved in doing it? And you sent me a beautiful bio, and I don't have it.
It's all good.
Thanks,
so, I work in mental health. I am a community support worker. I'm a certified licensed life coach, and I work with at-risk youth, particularly in Ward 7 and 8. And our children right now, they're suffering a lot. It's a lot going on, especially with the pandemic and them being at home. And with me right now, say for instance, I got two children, two young males that are facing murder 1 and murder 2 charges right now that were honor roll students 2 years ago. So, there's a lot going on mentally with our children that we're not addressing. There's a lot of things that, we as a community kind of look away from when it comes to the mental health until it's too late. And so I'm here to kind of address that and nip it in the bud before it becomes, a charge, or what else has been propping up a lot more is depression and anxiety within our children, which is major right now.
Yes. Thank you for addressing that. My God, thank you. And you are so needed in this town. Matter of fact, we need about 20 more of you because our Black men are lost. They're out there on the corners. And, we all come up in this city. We're no stranger to what's on the corners. It's just the unhealthiness that we're concerned about and the fact that there's nobody addressing it. Today, guys, we're talking with Mr. Quentin Alexander and our panel of guests. This is the Healthy DCME Leadership anniversary month of the Black History Empowerment of our children. We're talking today about COVID-19, the new norms, our youth, depression, anxiety, suicide, accountability, virtual learning, and what the path forward may look like. Hey, Mr. Alexander, last week we talked to a few of our guests and we talked about the fact that I saw a caption that said, our history, no, what does it say? Our strength and our resilience comes from our history. And so we haven't really been a people that's really talked about our things publicly. And so the challenge that I realized in mental health and the stigma in our community is that we'd rather suffer alone or self-medicate. And that kind of why DC's number one in the opioid, and we're hearing that this liver alcoholism is a problem. Will you talk to us about some of the solution-based oriented understandings that you see will help benefit our city if realistic?
Yeah, I think it's very realistic as long as we as a community agree to put our hands together and attack it, full steam ahead. Because at the end of the day, therapy is something that our community shuns away from. In other communities, especially in the white community, they make sure that their children get therapy early on. Whereas with our community, it's a stigma behind it. So those are the things that we had to kind of set forth moving forward to try to make sure that our children feel okay and comfortable with speaking about their issues. That's one of the big things that I focus on with the families, and it starts with the family, right? If you're not able to speak to the people that's inside your household, you're not going to feel comfortable speaking with the people that's outside.
Absolutely.
So you got to start speaking to the family. And I heard the gentleman who was over there on the keyboard speaking about if we're separated, there's no strength in that.
That's right.
Strength in numbers, right? So if we're as a community, we put our numbers together and start addressing things and making it feel comfortable, then it will change eventually. It's not going to happen overnight. It's something that's going to take a little while, but I think that it's definitely possible. Number two is making sure that there are, like you said, more people, especially more Black men in the mental health field, going out, speaking to these young men and young ladies and getting to the nitty gritty of it. A lot of people, especially right now with COVID, we're at a distance. The distance creates separation. Separation creates um, depression. That's one of the biggest forms of depression, is to be isolated. So now with isolation being a number one thing in the world right now, we're all, away from each other. And, I understand why, because of what we got going on. But at the same time, there's more things popping up in the meantime because of the isolation. We got to get out. We got to get involved in the community. We got to start reaching out to the youth, especially, and making sure, okay, you're isolated, because I feel one of the big things that is missing is the socialization part of it, which our children, we as adults, we okay with, we'll see y'all when we see y'all, you know what I mean? But the children, they need that. That's a big part of their growing up. That's something major for them. They have to have that. So socialization is being stripped from them because they're not in school anymore, because they don't go outside anymore as much as they used to. Back when we were younger, and I'm 36, but when I was coming up, everybody stayed outside. Stayed outside. You get out, you see, where everybody's at, because you see the bikes in front of the house or in front of the building. Everybody's right there. Nowadays, these kids, a lot of them, they're on the games. They don't leave the house, or they're on the electronics, some shape or form. And with me and with the children that I work with, I see a lot of issues stemming from the electronic. A lot of them get into beefs with each other. I was talking to a young man the other day. He said there's a group chat with about 30 kids on it, and all they do is talk about each other until somebody gets mad, and then they come outside to fight. So those are the things that we as adults, we don't see it because we're living in an adult world, but these children, they're experiencing and they're living in that on a daily basis. And then, it only plays even more in your mental when you don't have an outlet or someone to speak to. So we got to get out. We got to get more people in the community. We got to, and we got to join together to make this work. That's the only way it's going to work.
Hey, Mr. Alexander, palms up, brother. Palms up, coming through this platform, spreading all that knowledge. That's all it's about on this platform. You touched on something, socialization. To be honest with you, one of the things I read in that article when it talked about sending the kids back to school, that's really the only reason why we would really want to press, the needle to get these babies back together in these learning environments. Not because we would necessarily want to put them in harm's way, but because the reality of keeping them from the socialization and the engagement academically could be harming them as well.
It is harming them. If you've seen, the violence in the DC area has risen so high over the last year, and it's a reason because of that. These kids, they have a lot less to engage into. Take away the sports. I had a big issue with, I travel a lot, and I got a lot of friends and family in other parts of the country. A lot of people who I know who have children the same age as my children have been in school. They've been playing sports all year, and they've gotten a lot of the energy that they would be using, doing nothing. They're doing something with their energy, with the children in our area. If you notice, as soon as COVID hit, they took down the basketball courts, locked the gates up. I don't know what that to me that says a lot.
Yeah.
And when at the end of the day, you want our children to grow into good people. How do we do that without them understanding who they are? You understand who you are by individuals that you end up being around a lot of times. And if you don't get that socialization, then how do you know what you want to be and what you don't want to be? So as soon as you step out the house, you're following the first person you see. That's what a lot of these kids are doing. They're following other people because they haven't had the opportunity to get out and learn for themselves in the last year. That's a lot for a 14-year-old, 15-year-old to be isolated or to be by themselves. Imagine you at 14, 15, never seen anybody that you're used to seeing over the last couple of years. That's isolation, and socialization is major. And I speak on it all the time. Kids got to get out the house. They got to get fresh air. There's a lot of kids that I speak to on a regular basis. They're stuck in the house, and the only time they go out the house, they're going out the house to be around people who really don't have anything else to do, and then they always get in trouble. Yeah. So we got to kind of open up the city again for the youth alone, if not anybody, because that's major right now.
Hey, Ms. Alexander, I really thank you guys. We don't want to talk about this stuff, I know, out there, but we have to. If you're a parent out there of children, I hope that this is knowledge for you on a level that is going to help you as we learn how to communicate with our youth. Mr. Alexander is a life coach as well. And so it is important to understand that when we have these level of valuable resources in the community, take advantage of them. Hey, Mr. Alexander, how would I reach you? How would I get folks in touch with you?
On Facebook, it's Quentin Alexander. If you want to give me a call, it's 202-743-4274.
That is awesome. And is it just children that you work with?
No, I work with adults as well. I focus more on the children because, of course, that's who's coming up after us. But I work with the adults just as much. I work with battered women. I've worked with homeless, because that's a big thing in our city as well. Yeah. We have one of the highest rate of homelessness in the country.
Absolutely.
Right. For us to be the number one, and would you say there's only 1% of Black owners in downtown as far as buildings and stuff like that, but we also have the highest with the number one city as far as money making cities.
Come on now.
We have the lowest, I mean, we have the highest rate of homelessness, one of the highest rate of homelessness.
Nobody on the come up.
Talk about it. So I work with everybody. So you if anybody needs to get in contact with me, like I said, you can reach me at Quentin Alexander on Facebook or 202-743-4274. I'm sorry, I got a couple of numbers.
Thank you so much. No, that's fine. And we're going to make sure we get your information posted in our link and on our website. And also, Mr. Alexander, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Thumbs up, guys.
Thank you. I appreciate you for having me.
You guys, and we don't take you for granted. We would ask that you not be a stranger to our platform. And if you hang out with us, we're going to go around this circle here and get some more voices worked into this conversation. Thank you for what you do, brother.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Hey, Charles, as we get ready for Mrs. Real Talk, we know her, Overseer Ann Coles. I know that she brought some folks in. We've got some beautiful folks in our audience, our virtual audience, that are going to join her. Hey, Miss Real Talk, Project Enough, every night under fire and fear, every day, every day.
It's real.
In the community, in the street. Talk to us a little bit.
I have to agree with my brother. The other week, I was dropping some people off in Ward 8 in Parkland area, Shipley Ridge Crest. Something was going on. It was a bunch of police, and every night those children listen to gunfire. I get complaints every day that they can't do their studies because of gunfire. It's just become a culture over there. They had the police cameras and everything, but every night they go through that. Our children are suffering with so much depression and anxiety. Our suicide numbers are going up. It's just real. Our babies are really suffering.
Yes,
I joke all the time. I say Hollywood ain't too far from the truth. And all I can relate this to is Demolition Man. That's an old movie. And the time that we're living in is Demolition Man. And I just saw this comment as far as this not being able to communicate. I still have a son that's in school, and they're not allowed to go outside like we used to at lunchtime and play kickball or jump anything. They literally had to stay in the cafeteria and read a book, and if they talk, they put them in school suspension and stuff like that. Today I have a special guest. She actually lives in New York. Her name is Tiffany Pickney. She has firsthand experience with the COVID virus, and she is the first African American to give donation of plasma. So I introduced to some and others, Tiffany Pickney from Bronx, New York. Hello, Tiffany.
Hi, good evening, everyone, and thank you to the moderators and the panelists for having me on your platform on tonight. Thank you. So if I could just briefly introduce myself and tell.
You know, you are in one of the states that have the highest numbers, the highest death rate. Can you explain a little bit what's going on? And also, Tiffany is also, if I can share this, is in the process of her and Javon, they're actually producing their own little, do I want to call it sitcom? And it'll be coming out later on this year. But I just thought it was so important talking with Javon that she's a survivor, and we can get firsthand experience of how it's like dealing with this COVID. You know, a lot of our culture don't talk about it, but a lot of them are really suffering with it and still going through it. So Tiffany, I give the platform to you.
Thank you again for having me. So I will just briefly introduce myself and then convey my story and then give feedback in reference to what it was like having coronavirus and where I am now. So again, my name is Tiffany Pickney. I'm a community coordinator for the Department of Homeless Services down on Wall Street. I assist the Department of Homeless Services with securing permanent housing for New York City shelter families in shelter. I hold an MPA in Masters of Public Administration, and I am a single mother of two amazing African American young men. The ages are 17 and 9. So earlier last year, I contracted coronavirus. And be beknownst to me, I ended up becoming the first person in the United States to donate convalescent plasma. From that ordeal, I have been on major TV networks, platforms such as 2020, Inside Edition, Good Morning America, nationally and internationally. Having COVID-19 is something that I could have never foreseen. I have a clean bill of health. My children and I get physicals every year. And it was something that I have to be honest and transparent to say that I did not take as serious at the time it was occurring. And the reason being is because being an African American single parent, you do what you have to do to provide for your household, and you don't take sick days, and when you do, it's for your children. And so I was continuing going to work. I was in school for my master's degree at the time, and I was just trying to get through life like any other New Yorker. New York is a metropolis city, and so people are always on the go. And so I took sick, ended up going to the hospital, found out that I had COVID, survived COVID, and I bless God for that. Survived COVID and became the first person in the US to donate convalescent plasma. Having COVID was something that I mean, it's hard to explain on many levels because it takes you away from everything that you know and the uncertainty behind it. You're not sure what's going to happen. So as a single parent, it was extremely hard not being able to interact with my children the way we normally would. I took sick prior to the city shutting down, prior to New York becoming the epicenter. So it went from me getting sick, and then in a matter of 2 weeks, we were in ground zero. And so it really took a toll emotionally on myself as well as my children, having to quarantine, learning now to become acclimated, to continue to work from home, being a single parent, helping a teenager, assisting a younger child. It just turned our life upside down, for lack of better words. And so just to make a contribution on tonight in reference to what I've heard many of the moderators talk about is that I think we as African American individuals, especially single parents, we have to, all of the change that we're trying to implement has to begin at home. A lot of it has to begin in the household with conversations, with moments of transparency, with being honest and communicating with our children first. One of the things that we even had to implement in my household during COVID-19 is therapy. And one of the gentlemen indicated that African American families, it's not something that we've done and it's frowned upon. But I think a lot of the systemic change that is necessary, right? And that we have been a disadvantage. We haven't had the advantages like other cultures. We have to begin at home in regards to educating our children, educating our nieces and nephews, our neighbors as a minority people. And I think this time in quarantine, although there has been major setbacks, right? There has been major setbacks in reference to employment, in reference to jobs, in reference to social interaction. However, it has also been an opportunity to break up the foundations that we have had with being busy, not being able to be available to our children, always being on the go, and to implement change within the household.
Awesome. Awesome. I mean, you touched on so much.
Yes.
First and foremost, thank you for your service. I just wanted to get that in. Overseer was telling us a little bit about your story, but my God, you are a soldier, a warrior, and I'd like to just send you a very heartfelt palms up, because you're so right. This COVID-19 has been attacking our community, and it has been dictating the relationships that we're having with our families as a result of. And those of you that are persevering and coming out on the other side, my heart bleeds for you guys, because everyone that has become infected with COVID is sharing the same sentiments. It's nothing that you want to experience. And so to be fortunate enough to come out on the other side, God knows we got to start living, folks. We got to start making decisions to be healthier. I heard you talk about the fact that as African Americans, we're not used to therapy. We're not ones that typically will condone or entertain it, although we're usually the ones that need it the most. So I thank all of my wonderful guests thus far, because the commonality in this is that in order for us to be able to help and save our children, we've got to first help and save ourselves. We've got to be healthy. And this COVID-19 is something, and we've got to recognize the new norms for our families. And I keep saying it, in your new norm, therapy has to be a part of it, because there's no way we come out of this as a nation without being affected on some level mentally. And we all need to go and have adjustments made so that we understand what our new norms look like, so that our children can follow in our footsteps. Children follow our lead. Ms. Pickney, you have said so many wonderful, given us such a wonderful understanding, and Overseer Cole touched on quite a few things in terms of the need in the community for us to be able to recognize that our children are hurting and that they need us. Thank you so much for coming to the platform. You talked about the wonderful work that you're doing up there in Wall Street with the homeless. I'm not sure, but is there a place that we can follow your work? Is there a website, or is there a contact for you on social media where folks that are like-minded and like-missioned would be able to reach out to?
Yes, my Facebook page is just my name, Tiffany Pickney. In any way that I could be of assistance with someone who is in the shelter system, or just kind of help steer in the right direction, I am definitely willing to do that. If I can just add one more contribution in reference to what you mentioned with myself and Javon Brown, who I thank for introducing me to you, which allowed me to be on this platform. From this entire ordeal, what I am in the process of doing is branding myself under the logo, Be the First. And so I just wanted to add on, a lot of the change that we need to see, we have to become the first of, or we have to be the example, especially for the generation behind us. If we don't become the first, then what's going to happen is we're going to perpetuate a cycle of what we've been used to, whether that is lack of education, whether that is lack of entering into arenas that African Americans or Hispanics are not prevalent in. We have to become the first in our homes, in our mindset, in our churches, to be willing to, I like this. I've come up with this statement, and I'm a licensed minister, so I know the Holy Spirit gave it to me. And it's that in order for us to collect the greater harvest, we must be willing to extend the nets. And so we have to be willing to speak up, to stand on the truth, to, be honest, even amongst our peers, even amongst ourselves, in regards to some of the things that is wrong with our community, that we may be able to fix it. So Be the First. It's just a motivational speaking platform to do that. A book that I'm still writing regarding COVID-19. I'm experiencing that, surviving. And the last is my customized apparel. So if you guys are interested in any of those services, along with me being a community coordinator for the city of New York, follow me on Facebook. My Facebook is my name, and then everything else and all the content is there as well. Thank you again to the moderators for allowing me to speak.
Thank you. The pleasure is all ours. I know Overseer Cole is appreciative.
Thank you so much, Tiffany, and I look forward to working with you in the future.
Likewise. Thank you so much.
Amen. You're more than welcome.
Unapologetically speaking, I know you're still with us. Hey guys, I'm looking at the hour. We got about 10 more minutes of programming. Hang on. We got some wonderful stuff we're still talking about, and we still got a musical selection that we've been promised. We don't need an after party. We just need to start on time. Palms up. Palms up. Keep it at 100. Come on, unapologetically speaking, Mr. Kenneth. We working in these streets. Come on, Mr. Kenneth Clark, unapologetically speaking. Get your 2 cents in. Our babies out here every night under fire and fear in the beautiful month of Black history. Empowerment, COVID-19, depression, anxiety. What's on your mind? What we saying to the kids this week?
So it's a lot to say. To sum it up, We really need to connect to our spiritual roots. That is a piece that is missing. We know the scripture says we look up toward heaven, from which cometh our help. And
Amen.
And this is really a time of we need to be praying for a spiritual consecration to engulf the land. I need to say that one
I'm
more
about
time.
to say, let that resonate, marinate for a minute. We need to be praying for what, unapologetically speaking?
A spiritual consecration to hit the land. Yeah, I know we go on fast, and you know, but we need to be praying for a spiritual consecration.
Okay.
That is what's going to help bring restoration to what we are facing.
Wow. Wow, that's deep. You always deliver. You'll never disappoint. I love you. I love you. So they tell me you brought a guest with you this week. Who's your beautiful guest out there?
Yes, she's like a godmother of Ward 8, this beloved angel right here. We have stood side by side for our Ward 8 babies, all for Galen, Terrence, and seen it firsthand. Miss
Will you introduce her?
Miss Asai.
Asia.
Yeah. Sorry.
That's a beautiful name. Miss
Hold
Asia.
it in my head.
Yes, Asia. Asia to Mimi. How are you?
How are you, Queen?
I'm very well, and I'm thankful that you all invited me to speak.
Oh, no, we love our voices in the community.
Thank you. I met Kenneth Clark. He's been very active in the community as well, pertaining to some of the issues that we've had over in Galen Terrace. Some people call it Chopper City because it's not just Galen Terrace, it's the surrounding area. I run an organization and it's called Rock Now. And the acronyms for Rock are Rehabilitating Our Community is Key Now.
That's right. That's right.
I started this organization in 2015. I was motivated as an officer and correctional officer / firearms instructor for DC prisons. I had an inmate at the time who informed me that he didn't want to go back to prison because he was, struggling with issues of literacy. So I gave him some flyers on different literacy programs in DC, and I didn't see him anymore. I didn't see him come back through the prisons like many, because it was a revolving door for a lot of people, because a lot of our people are unequipped. And I found that to be the case with him. So he finished a literacy program. I saw him 2 years later, and he said, I looked everywhere for you just to thank you. He said, I got me a job in construction. I have not looked back. He said, I finished a literacy program, and finally I feel good that I can provide for my 2-year-old without having to do it in the streets.
Awesome. That is awesome.
So the humanitarian that I am, I said, I wonder how many other young Black men suffering with the same issue.
Come on now.
I was doing studies working in the prison. I wasn't supposed to, but I was curious and I wanted to know, because I have 2 degrees in criminal justice. I have a bachelor's in legal studies, and I have a master's of science in criminal justice with an emphasis in law. And I raised my kids. I lived in that same hood that I advocate for. And I said, I wonder how many other guys out here struggling with the same issue. And I was shocked to find out there were so many. Absolutely. So it motivated me to start my organization. And it is geared towards, mobilizing the community towards, change through educational programs, trying to alleviate the recidivism rate in the prison through educational programs and skill training. So what I'm trying to do now is start a life skills program in that community to Meet them where they are.
That's right. That's right, you change agent, you.
And to try to bring, you know, and there are plenty of programs in DC. But see, the problem is they can't leave their community.
Mm-hmm. Come on.
Because of the beefs.
Come on now.
The beefs are going on 3 blocks that way, 4 blocks that way. And like the gentleman said before, you have a lot of the internet plays a big part. They're coming out with music and they're dissing one another. And then this one wants to get at this one. And sometimes they don't even know why they're beefing. But what I will say, if you get caught, those same people that you beefing with are the same ones you're going to depend on when you go to the federal penitentiary.
Come on now, teach them.
Because what happens is those same guys who are beefing become homies in prison.
That's right.
DC is small, but elite. But when you get out into the federal penitentiary, now you have to deal with other gangs who don't like DC.
Yes. Speak.
So they tend to stick together. The same ones. You just slaughtered his friend a year ago. You know. So my goal is to try to bring change into the community. It's a grassroots nonprofit organization, starting from just myself. You know, trying to team up with others who have other things that they can contribute, other skills and things like that they can contribute. We can all come together and try to help the community.
Absolutely.
You know.
Hey, Queen, thumbs up. Thank you, Queen. We really appreciate you. We had to do this show. If we don't do shows like this, they wouldn't know that we out here.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
Power. And
I thank you so much for this platform.
And we have to teach the children. I'm so honored and proud to know that you're out there, because I know my baby's got a chance. And you talk about linking up and connecting, and we are definitely at healthydcme.org. We're recruiting partners. We're recruiting change agents, because we recognize we can't do this work alone, nor do we want to. Hey guys, I'm so blessed and so honored. Thank you so much, Queen.
Thank you. And I love your spirit. And thank you, Kenneth.
Hey, Ward 8, you get another palms up. We got another Ward 8 baby in the house. They don't know about East of that river, do they? They don't know about East of that river. But we're going to talk about it. We're going to let them know. Thank you for saving our soldiers out there and our soldierettes. And we're going to be seeing you on the community level, because we're going to be doing some talking and working together. Please don't. Last time that we connect, we want to see you at our monthly leadership meeting. Is it okay?
I would love to.
An invite?
Of course, I would love to.
That's wonderful. Thanks, Queen. God bless you. I'm gonna grab another beautiful.
You too. Thank you.
Wrap this up, and we're gonna be talking to you soon. God bless you, and keep doing that wonderful work. And let them know.
Thank you. You too.
You got help. Palms up.
Palms up.
Be in this together. Thanks for your service, Queen.
You're welcome.
God bless. Hey, Miss Cynthia Robinson, wouldn't you know we put the educator on last? Don't nobody want to go to school. Palms up. You know how we do it here at the Palms Up platform. We deliver. Guys, we got so many community partners. We had to start a program. We had to come to you guys weekly. We got so many wonderful soldiers out here that's doing this work and helping us. And on the Black History Month, where we are helping to empower our children, we need to bring our Black history heroes to the platform. Yes. Okay, if they keep learning about that old history, that yesterday's history, we wanted our babies to know about today's history and all our beautiful, beautiful Black queens and kings out there making it happen. Don't you let nobody tell you that we are not a people that can do great and mighty things. Babies out there, single mothers out there, if you're lost out there, if you're depressed out there, if you're alone out there, I need you to look into that camera and look into that phone and understand that greatness is before you. We are an excellent people. We are Ward 8 babies, some of us. And we're still sitting at the table because it does not matter where you come from. That's geography. That's geography. Guys, we can come together and do a mighty thing. Don't get caught up in all the pomp and circumstance. Use your power for good out there. Hey, Miss Cynthia Robinson. Guys, I don't even have enough time left. I just need you to know that she's a soldier coming forward.
Okay.
Robinson is serving in the background of the Healthy DC and Me organization, as well as the MI Mothers Keeper organization. She's making it happen. She's our dear educator. She's our early elementary childhood educator, and she's going to come forward and just help us understand what this virtual learning process looks like from the eyes of our educators. Guys, if we're going to help our babies, we got to roll our sleeves up and understand this conversation from every angle and get in there and help our babies get across the finish line. Ms. Robinson, I think you're still on mute. Will you unmute and help us understand from your beautiful perspective? And thank you so much, Queen, for taking the time from our babies and teaching them to come to the platform. Palms up.
Thumbs up.
God bless you. We just
Thank you.
yield the floor to you, our dear educator.
Yes. Well, I thank you so much for inviting me. I'm so honored to be a part of this platform this evening, and I'm so honored to hear so much. I'm learning so much. You're educating me about a lot of things that's going on in DC in the streets and the community workers and helpers. I am truly blessed to be amongst you all this evening. But anyway, from an educator's perspective, real quick, teaching virtually is really, it's a challenge. Let me just say it's a challenge. It's not difficult, and the reason why it's not difficult because our number one goal is that we have to reach our children. And if it's the platform that they have provided for us to reach our children, to teach them academically, then you have to adjust according to, whatever you have to go forward, to continue their education. One of the things that I would like to bring to the attention is that our biggest supporter is our parents. We have parents in the homes that are side by side with their child. I mean, this COVID this pandemic has allowed the family to spend more time together in the home because the parents are like our greatest support system as we teach their children. Okay. But we need the parents on board. We cannot do it without the parents. I teach first grade. So you know that those first graders from home need that guidance. But the flip side to that as well is that there's a lot of no one really understands the activities that goes on in the home that can be very disruptive to a student's education as well, as you all mentioned that before. It's a lot that goes on. We're talking domestic violence and a little bit of everything that goes on in the home, but because we are teachers, we have to teach around that. We don't know, we never know what's going on in the homes, okay? But our number one goal is to make sure that their child get an education, a quality education that they can stand on. So that's where we are. And again, our biggest supporter is our parents. We need our parents there. And you can't gradually, you may not can reach all of them, but the blessed part too is that they have other platforms, educational platforms that students can go in to get that extra education as far as reading and doing math. They have individual platforms where, when they're not in school, on the weekend, even through the summertime, platforms that they can go on and continue to get reading and continue to get math. And they have, of course, the YouTube has a wealth of information. If you want to learn something, just Google it. And you can just pull that information up. If your child is just learning to read or just learning their alphabets and want to know the alphabet sounds, that information is right there. There's all kinds of videos there to help you teach your child, to help keep them abreast of in the direction that they need to go. Because, for every grade level, we're building on. My students came to me from kindergarten. So of course, I'm teaching first grade, so I'm building on to that foundation. So when they leave me, second grade builds on to the foundation that I have put in place. So it's important that, again, we stay focused, regardless as to what's going on. There's things that go on that's beyond our control. But mainly, we're called to teach the children. We have to train them up in the way that they should go.
Amen.
That's our responsibility. Do you understand? We're charged to do that. And that's what I desire, and that's what I want to do. That's what I enjoy doing. I love what I do. I love teaching.
Amen. Thank you. And I can firsthand say that yes, you do, and yes, you are. And those children are better for it, and our school system is as well, especially during a pandemic. Guys, we need our wisdom at the table. And I want Ms. Robinson, if you will please agree to come back to our platform and keep us abreast of what's going on in the schooling system. Because obviously, I know you're PG County. You guys haven't integrated yet. You haven't gone back to the classroom setting yet.
No, we have not. No, we have not.
DC is challenged, and some of the families.
There's a lot of planning going on, but we have not.
Okay, and one of the other things I wanted to touch on before we let you get away, you are a frontline worker. In our opinion, you are also a senior. So in terms of vaccination, have you yourself reconciled where you might be with deciding if you'll be vaccinated, or have you been, if you don't mind us asking?
I have decided, and I decided a while ago that I will be vaccinated. And I made arrangements. Right now, my husband and I is on a waiting list. We have Kaiser Insurance. We have to wait till, I was informed that they're waiting for another supply.
Yes.
The vaccine to come in. So we're waiting for that. But, for me, and this is what I can share. The one thing that made me to realize, or made me decide whether or not I was going to take the vaccine. Many years ago, we had other diseases going on, smallpox, you know what I'm saying, German measles. We had other different kinds of flus, and they created vaccines to ward off these sicknesses, these illnesses. So, the COVID can't be no different than what was going on years ago.
I pray.
So we got something new on the market now. So, okay, what are you going to do with it? You're going to just sit back and not do anything about it? Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? And
that's what we are with it.
That's how I'm looking at it. If they created a vaccine, and we're talking not just a particular area, we're talking about the whole country.
Absolutely.
The whole country.
Whole country.
The whole country needs to be vaccinated, right? But that was, my take as to why I made that decision to take that vaccine. I am going to take it.
Well, there you have it, folks. Palms up out of the mouth of our educator. Thank you so much, Ms. Robinson, for stopping by the platform.
For having me. I'm honored.
Please know from the bottom of our heart, we appreciate the work that you do in helping our babies, because we know that this is a trying time for our children. And so it's important to know that they have folks such as you in the limelight that are helping them to do what they need to do and to stand on the foundation of training them up in the way that they should be. So thank you so very much for your dedication.
So welcome.
And we love you here on the Palms Up Show.
Hey
guys, it's just like that. Another week, you know what I'm saying? It started off a little rocky, but you know, we wore they babies. We know how to handle the little rockiness east of that river. Get a little rocky, and we just stand firm because we mean what we say. Don't take advantage of our families. Don't take us for granted, and make sure we got the services and resources we need so our babies can shine. Hey guys, this is your girl. Palms up. Palms up. We're talking about our babies this week and all month. For Black History Month, we are educating, we are empowering, we are engaging so that our youth know that there are other choices. We need to help them to understand that their strength and their resilience comes from their history. Guys, we are a people of excellence. Today, we've been talking about COVID-19, new norms, and our youth. We've been talking about the virtual learning process. We've been talking about accountability, not so much from our children's standpoint, but from the community and from the government standpoint in terms of resources and services that are needed. Hey guys, I hear the music playing. That must mean that we are almost out of here. I hope that you have enjoyed this wonderful information. All of the information that we've talked about today, most will be on our platform. You are welcome to like our page, Healthy DC and Me Coalition. Our Cash App, the Cash App is Palms Up for MI. Guys, this work is not free. We do this work. And those of you that see our videos know that we're out here, we're on the prowl, we're making sure that our families are taken care of. We got hotel rooms that we are housing families in out of this cold weather. If you know somebody that needs some help, send them to our website, healthydcandme.org. Guys, this is your girl. We're out in the street. Palms up. I want to thank my beautiful, beautiful power brokers up there. We had some real estate brokers on the set today, and you heard what they said. The politics and all this doesn't make sense. need to help them reach the top of the shelf so that they can shine, baby, shine. Hey, Miss Harriet Hawkins and Mr. Carrie Woods, peace. Palms up. I appreciate you guys. Mr. Quentin Alexander out there in our mental health community. Guys, we got some brothers on the block that's taking care of the block. I appreciate you, brothers, so well. And you guys, we're going to make sure that we get your information on our platform. Please, if there's anything we can do at healthydcme.org to help your wonderful work in the community, all you got to do is call, brother.
I appreciate that. I appreciate you for having me on your platform too. This is amazing.
Oh, we appreciate you, and I hope the door is open because we're coming back. Our people need saving, and we can't do this in one shot. So we appreciate you. Hey, Miss Tracy on the line. I see you over there in our virtual audience coming out to support the team. Hey, Miss Tracy, we appreciate you, and we appreciate all of our callers. Hey, Miss Cynthia. Hey, thank you so much, Miss Robinson, for coming out and rocking with us, putting on your beautiful African attire, representing for the culture. Palms up, palms up.
Palms up.
Shout out, people. But we
class Black History Month
has started his musical selection. I'm going to invite you guys, and before I do, thank you, Phenomenon. Thank you for rocking out and having our back when things are rocky and shaky. We always got somebody standing in the wings. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you all. Hey, Mr. Charles, come over here on camera and take a bow. Guys, we can't do this work by ourselves. We love our babies. You guys met Charles Carrington last week, and I just want him to come out and take a just do bow because he's in here working for us. Hey, Mr. Kenneth Clark, thank you so much for helping us to do what we do. And Miss Ann Coles. Hey, palms up. Hey, guys, we in the community tomorrow. Keep watching the page. We're going live. We got seniors that are not being taken care of. We got some business to take care of. So with that said, I'd ask for you to listen to the last musical selection. Thank you all, you wonderful, beautiful Black people. Please continue to follow our movement. Send them our way and keep supporting our work. We need you. Palms up. Palms up. God bless you, beautiful queens and kings. Lemuel Hines, will you take us out of here? See you guys next week, 7 p.m. Tuesday. It's not a game out here. We're going live tomorrow. We got something to talk about. Hey, Lem, it's all yours.
This song is called Hero, Wind Beneath My Wings. I want to know whose wings are you the wind beneath them?
Amen.
Must have been cold there in my shadow.
Absolutely, yes.
To never have sunlight there on your face. You've been content to let me shine. Always walk one step behind. I was the one looking for all the glory. I looked around and you were the one with all the strength. Yes, you were. Beautiful face without a name. That's who you were. I never once heard you complain. Never complain. Did you ever know you're my hero, my hero? You're everything I wish I could be. And because of that, I can fly higher than an eagle. Oh, 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 Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You are the wind. Yeah, yeah. You are the wind. Hey, yeah, yeah. You are the wind. Beneath my wind beneath my wind beneath my wings.
Awesome. Amazing. Thank you. Hey guys, we'll see you next week. Palms up. We go live tomorrow. God bless you all. Amazing.